People give virtual DJ a hell of a lot, way too much credit. Believe it or not, they are not as good as people think. What's up, bros? Today I want to answer a couple of comments that I've been getting on my recent videos and just provide a little bit more context and give you guys a bit of an idea on my train of thought about how I approach these things. So let's start from the older video and work our way to the newest one. So the first one is the $1,500 DJ build. A lot of you guys were saying, oh, this was all cheap equipment that you're using, and yeah, that was the whole point of the video. Second thing is, a lot of you guys surprisingly had an issue with gaff tape. I thought that was a bit weird. A lot of you guys said you guys don't like using gaff tape. I don't know why. Some of you guys were referring to not using gaff tape on the tripods because it's better if you get some clips, or if you get some bungee cords, or if you get some Velcro ties. And yes, you could do that. I just do it my way with tape because tape is easy. I've also seen a lot of you guys saying, oh, you should have just got some of those gravity clips. And I have those gravity clips, but I don't use them because I always lose them at the end of the night. After a rough gig, at the end of the night, all I want to do is just pack everything up, and keeping track of those little clips is difficult. I don't want to worry about little clips. I love being able to just go to the tripod at the end of the night and just go like this. Boom, that's it, into the garbage. I don't have to worry about putting them away. And yes, you can leave the gravity clips on the tripod, but they're probably gonna fall off or break in transport. Next one, top 10 worst DJ purchases that I have ever made. I don't get why this triggered some of you guys. The reason I regret buying those pieces of gears is from my personal experience. If you like the Chauvet Swarm, that's fine with me. I used it, but I outgrew it. I just don't like the polka dot look anymore. But that's just my opinion. I could care less what you are personally doing. In my opinion, a full-blown wash of color on the dance floor is way better than polka dots on the dance floor. But if you're okay using the Swarm, that's totally fine. Next up, the Gator tripod. This is one of the ones that a lot of people seem to defend. And again, it's okay if you like them. I just personally didn't like them. I thought the extension leg was a total gimmick. A lot of you guys also said the hydraulic system that was on there was there to assist. It wasn't there to lift. And that's fine if you think that. I still think those tripods suck. I didn't think they were all that great. I thought they were flimsy. The hydraulics was a total joke. My Frankensteins, they can lift up those SRX speakers behind me, no problem. Those tripods would probably snap if I put in SRX speakers. I put PRXs on them and it couldn't even handle that. And yes, I know they were supposed to assist, but it didn't assist at all. So I still think that those tripods suck. Let's talk about the SKB issue. But before we do that, I want to kind of shed some light about something that I thought was pretty apparent, but apparently not. A lot of you guys got offended because I was cursing in that video, and I didn't know you guys didn't know that I curse. I curse quite a bit, but I always censor it here with a duck sound on my video. However, for that video, I wanted to emphasize my rage and my anger, and I think I got that across by not censoring myself. A lot of you guys watch my videos and you get a sense that you kind of know me, but a lot of my friends can vouch for me on this. If you know me in person, I'm actually a very quiet, laid-back person, but I'm also a short, fat, really angry dude. And I guess I don't show that in the video. I don't know what it is. I can't explain it, but this is even a thing when I DJ. When I DJ or when I make videos, I turn into a completely different person. I can't explain it. I don't know what comes over me. And I guess I'm just such a passive, laid back kind of introvert guy in my day-to-day life that when the camera comes on, I feel like I can actually express my opinion, because growing up, I felt like nobody took me seriously because I was short, I was scrawny, I was like that little kid, so I felt like nobody took me seriously. So I guess my camera is just a way for me to vent, and same with DJing. When I'm performing and I'm on stage, I feel like I'm finally getting attention, the attention that I don't get when I'm pretty much off stage or off camera. So I do curse, guys, and I am human. Now, the SKB issue. I can't believe it, but we actually got a response from SKB. They actually responded to my video and they apologized. I really appreciate that they responded. I respect respect that. I can't believe they did that because like a lot of you guys saw, I went in on them. SKB, you should be ashamed of yourself for putting out such shit out there. So I do respect that, and I say this to SKB, apology accepted, but I do believe some compensation is in order. I'll probably never know if that was just a fluke because I'm never gonna buy another SKB rack case. Now, that doesn't mean I won't be buying some SKB cases because I already have SKB cases. As you guys can see here, this is an SKB case, and they're not bad cases, but their racks are horrible. That's why I emphasize, do not buy the plastic racks from SKB, because I'm totally fine with these briefcase looking cases. I have this one, and it works totally fine, but I stand by my statements on that rack. SKB, if you're watching this and you really want to make things right, I think you should send me a rack case so that I can try it out and see if it was a fluke or not. I could put it to the test and see if it really does suck or not, because the one I got, it completely sucked. Now let's talk about the virtual DJ video from yesterday. I got a ton of feedback from you guys, both positive and negative. I had a lot of friends texting me discussing why they feel a certain way about virtual DJ, why they're so against it. I also got a couple comments from you guys watching out there disagreeing with me in the comments. First, let's address some of the lighter topics before we get into the more deeper topics. First one off the bat, I kind of did this one on purpose. I knew it was going to piss off a lot of guys. I made a comment where I said that vinyl was dead. By the way, if you really want to piss off some purist DJs, shop some DJ Barr merch and show them that controllers is the way, vinyl is dead. By the way, use promo code HOLIDAY20 to save on my merch line, listed always in the bottom of my video. So buy yourself a piece of merch. But in my opinion, this statement is 100% true. Vinyl is alive and well for a hobbyist. My friend Gary Delabate, he still collects vinyl. He loves listening to vinyl at home. But I'm talking about vinyl in the DJ world. You see, there is a difference between timecode and vinyl. To every DJ who thinks they're DJing with vinyl because they're using timecodes, that, in my opinion, is fake. Put down the laptop and do things the old school way. Get yourself a milk crate, get yourself 2 copies of the same record. Don't use cue points on Serato, no software. Set your cue points with stickers and markers like those guys did back in the day if you want to believe that vinyl is still alive, because in my opinion, vinyl in the DJ world is dead. Timecode is not vinyl. Which brings me to the launch of my new t-shirt. Is that vinyl or timecode? That is a real t-shirt that you can buy, and it's listed at the bottom of my video. I hate that mentality that I see a lot of purist DJs have, talking about how turntables and vinyl is the way to go, and then they do stuff like use Serato and things of that nature, because it's not the same. You're manipulating a digital copy of the record on a software using a timecode that's vinyl. It's not necessarily a vinyl record. Additionally, I see a ton of guys claiming that vinyl is alive and well, and they use things like phase. At that point, you've just eliminated vinyl. You're only using the motor located in the turntable. There is a purist mentality that I will never, ever get behind, and that is, you're not a real DJ unless you're using turntable. Again, a lot of these guys are using phase, they're using time codes, they're using range. I would say those things resemble that of old school DJing, but it's just not. It's not exactly the same. And the argument that a lot of purist DJs make is the culture. It's bad to the culture, it's ruining the culture, it's putting us out of business, and this is something that I can't get behind. I'm sorry, I just don't agree with it. The idea that somebody's not a real DJ because they didn't start out on a set of turntables, they didn't start using vinyl, is, in my opinion, bullshit. Culture only lives on by people willing to adopt culture and pass culture on down. And you can adopt a culture all you want. I've done my part. I have turntables. I love messing around with turntables. I believe in the culture, yes, but in order for the culture to stay alive, you have to pass the culture down. And when people bash DJs for using a certain software or using a certain controller, in my opinion, that's damaging to the culture, because you're discouraging more people from joining the culture. And the less people you have within the culture, the more that you're killing the culture, because that means as soon as you're gone, that culture ain't gonna to continue on. It also makes no sense for somebody who shows a bit of interest on DJing to save up the amount of money needed for turntables. I don't know if you know this, but turntables are now more expensive than they were when they actually came out. And if you want to get yourself a set of Techniques, get ready to drop some serious cash, as well as an S9 mixer. You're looking at an easy $4,000 when you can easily just start DJing today with just a simple controller. That's what kills the culture, because now you're alienating a group of people, telling them that they're not worthy enough, that they're not real enough for them to be classified as a real DJ. So they branch off and they start their own culture, killing the culture that you had. Now, you can do your part. You can save the culture by passing it on, but you will never be able to keep the culture alive yourself. It's up to the next generation to keep that culture alive, which is why it's important to embrace new DJs and tell them, hey, it's important that you learn turntables. Check it out. This is how you use them. Don't put them down because they're using controllers. Invite them in and show them. I'm a deep believer that you should know how to use turntables. You should be a super versatile DJ that nothing should ever stand in your way. When somebody calls you up to DJ, you should be able to step right up to the plate, no problem, no matter if it's CDJs, a controller, or a set of turntables. It should be your goal, your mission, to be the most versatile DJ out there. I'm always going to use the equipment that's readily available to me because it makes my life easier. Here's a little story for you. I DJ'd at this place called Fix. It was called Fix Nightclub, and they had the ultimate setup. They had this big ass mixer. I don't even know if they make it anymore. It was a huge Pioneer mixer. It was made for video. I think it was the DJ V1000 or something like that. And then they also had some CDJs as well as some Techniques turntables. I was the opening DJ and I would set all my stuff up, and you know, I had the option. Did I want to use the turntables or did I want to use the CDJs? I felt more comfortable on CDJs, so I always used the CDJ. And then we would have big name DJs who I would see them on social media talking hella shit about guys taking the easy route with instant doubles and not using turntables and this and that. And then they would come into the club and they would use the turntables as a table to hold their keys and their cell phone. They would place them down and they would plug in and use the CDJs. You want to know why? Because it was easier to use the CDJs because you had to bring your own time codes. You had to bring your own needles. The club didn't provide needles or time codes. So the guys were like, I'll just bring my laptop and use that because I don't want to bring my needles. I don't want to bring the time codes. I'm not doing all that. I just rather just plug in because it's easier. And I'm not going to lie to you, there were some guys that brought their time codes, they brought their needles, but it was always a pain in the ass afterwards. If I was going on after them, I had to wait for them to remove all their shit so that I can plug in. It was just annoying. But now let's talk about the virtual DJ issue that really upsets certain DJs. And I shout out to the homie Cleveland Terry. Me and him had a conversation about this yesterday. So the biggest problem that a lot of people have with virtual DJ is their mission statement, the fact that they're all about making it easier to DJ. And I explained to you guys earlier, and I explained to you guys in the video that I'm all for technology. Now, I will say this. I doubt virtual DJ is watching this. Change your mission statement because it honestly does suck. I have to agree with my peers on the Serato side. Your mission statement is horrific. There's a statement on there that goes on to say that people don't care about mixing or whether or not you do know how to mix. And in my opinion, that's false. That is a horrible argument that you guys made. I think you should remove that. I think, matter of fact, you should just redo your whole mission statement. You could include the same points that you made, but I feel like you could word it a little bit differently. I do agree with the statement that the audience doesn't care whether or not you know how to mix, but the audience does care about a good mix. Especially for me, I was DJing Latin clubs, and I remember DJs would give me shit if I fell off beat when I was missing salsa, bachata, or merengue, because those require precisions. If you do those off beat, off time, then people are gonna mess up their footwork. So it's very important that you place those tracks on beat and on time so that you don't mess up the flow when people are dancing together. Good mixing is important, which brings me to my next plug on my new t-shirt. Good mixing is important, and using code HOLIDAY20 you can save 20%. Virtual DJ, just go on and just rewrite the whole statement, because you also go on to defend yourself, and that just makes it look like you're an inferior brand. You should just keep it plain and simple. We're all about innovating and bringing new technology to DJs, and call it a day at that. And the last and final point I want to make, people give Virtual DJ a hell of a lot, way too much credit. Believe it or not, they are not as good as people think. When I was talking to my friends about yesterday's video, they told me that they don't like Virtual DJ because they don't like the fact that they're out there to kill the culture, they're out there to kill DJ. And I just think you're giving that company way too much credit. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible for them to create the ultimate computer DJ AI machine. I'm not saying that's impossible. What I am arguing is the fact that that's still not going to replace DJing. I like to compare DJing to photography. You see, photography is super readily available. There's cameras built into our phones. You used to be able to go into Walgreens and get yourself a $5 camera. Photography is readily available to the masses, and yes, photography, they've already done it in that world. As you guys can see, have an auto function on pretty much all cameras. But yet, photographers still have a job. There's still a place out there for photographers. Yes, you can use auto mode, but when used properly and used by a professional and used by somebody who actually knows what they're doing, the manual function on a camera is actually way more powerful than the auto function on this camera. We're eventually going to reach a point where computers can beat match and mix songs perfectly if we're not already there. You're giving Virtual DJ too much credit. First of all, they have to get to that point where, you know, the mixes are flawless, they're able to analyze tracks. That's difficult to do. And if Virtual DJ does create the ultimate auto mixing, crowd reading machine, then it's a new market because DJs aren't going to buy that anymore. They're going to have to sell it to somebody else. Now they have to sell this to bars and nightclubs and maybe weddings. Then you hear people saying, oh, I'm having Windows 2077 DJ in my wedding or stuff like that. And then there's competition. Don't for a second believe that anything that's successful that Virtual DJ puts out that other companies aren't going to imitate, and that includes Serato. DJs hold Serato in such a high regard, but they forget that they too are also in a business. They could care less about the DJ culture. They mostly care about the money. This is just fact. So if, let's say, Virtual DJ is able to create the ultimate auto mixing machine that puts DJs out of business, do you think that Serato is just gonna sit by and let themselves go out of business as well? No, they're gonna adopt, they're gonna innovate, and they're obviously gonna copy. These two companies and companies like Tractor and Rekordbox are always going to borrow ideas from each other. If something succeeds, you better believe that the next company up is going to copy it. Bottom line is, these companies are in a business. They're in the DJ business and they're out to make money. They're not in the business of the ethical thing of saving the DJ culture. And as I said in my previous video, these computers will never be able to replicate the soul, the swagger, and the energy that a live human brings to an event. When you reach a point in your DJ career that you're worried that new technology is going to take your job, that you stop innovating, you stop improving and working on your craft, you've already lost the battle because you're not willing to change and adapt to new technology. So embrace it. You should welcome every challenge that comes towards you and say, bring it on, I can take it.
Hey, yo, that was ill. And y'all punk asses ain't do nothing. All that buffness for no reason. That's him.
Thank you, bro, so much for watching this video. I'd love to get your opinions, your thoughts on any of the topics we discussed today. Leave your comments down in the comment section of this video. Additionally, don't forget that this entire week leading up to Christmas, we are going to be discounting all my DJ merch and my DJ tools. So that includes all my brand new t-shirts that I talked about, my DJ sound effects, my DJ planning forms, TV visuals. They are all on discount with promo code HOLIDAY20. Support the channel so that I can keep bringing you guys more awesome content like this. Bros, if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit that like button on the way out. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new around here, and don't forget to turn on that bell so that you can be notified next time we do another video. By the way, I might be taking the next 2 days off, so if I don't talk to you guys then, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy any holiday that you celebrate. Thank you, bro, so much for watching my channel. I'll see you guys when I return. I might be back tomorrow. I haven't decided yet. But alright, peace.